Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, so happy Wednesday, and I had a little pocket of time today, so I wanted to make another video because one, I've gotten some good responses from people on these videos. I think people see a lot of value in them, but then two, I'm just seeing time and time again, conversation after conversation. I'm getting more and more inspired to do these because part of where people's faces are right now are their phones, and especially now more than ever. So I wanted to let you guys know a quick little message, and it has to do with changing how you think. Okay, changing how you think, because if you change how you think, then the things that you are looking to accomplish have a better you have a better chance of getting them accomplished. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times, like a lot of people have lost a lot of faith in their jobs, have lost a lot of faith in the kind of the industrial age type of you work at a company, right? But the issue with that is, now what do I do if I know I don't want to work the rest of my life, or I know I don't want to work for a company? Maybe I want to start my own, or maybe I want to do for myself, or we live in the 21st century. There's so many different things a person can do to establish for themselves, which is a major opportunity to really kind of start to build wealth for the next generations after us. And so, but the frustrating part for most people is one, they've never been taught how to own something for themselves or do for themselves. If you think about college, what it really does is it teaches you how to get good grades, and it teaches you how to kind of network. It teaches you how to it doesn't teach you how to be an adult, but it does teach you certain things that you use. So, but at this point, when people don't want to, or they don't see the stability that they thought their job would offer them, especially at a younger age, people at a younger age are starting to see that their job is not as stable, and kind of how the income is not as steady as it was before in a career path, and these are just conversations that I've been having. And so you have to remember, so naturally a person is going to want to do more for themselves, but they don't, but one thing that a person has to do is start to realize that how I think is going to have to change as well. I was just having a conversation today with a guy, and I was talking to him about how, you go to school, you get the education, right? And I did the same thing. I went to Texas State University here in Texas. And I went to high school here in Texas. And so, the whole, go to school, get good grades, that'll land you at a good job. The job will pay well, and you can scale that company and build a lifestyle from that. And people do that, right? But the thing is, what happens when you don't want to do that anymore? Or what happens when that doesn't feel like that's the route anymore? Well, you may physically want to do things differently, but your way of thinking also needs to change. And that's, I think, what most people aren't catching. A lot of people are looking to do more for themselves. I have friends that are starting dropship companies. I have friends that are starting e-commerce companies, which is smart. It's having a business without having overhead, or a lot of overhead, so it is smart, right? But, and I give perspective to those people, from time to time. My wife and I have been fairly successful in just life at this point, in our financials, our financial structure, and different things that we've built. And so, we give them insight. But the biggest thing I'm finding that most people have an issue with is changing their mindset. How you make money is going to be completely different. So when you spend time for money, when you work at a company, your effort stays exactly the same. You're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week for 50 years of your life, right? Just straight across 50 years of your life, you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You got 2 weeks of vacation, maybe 3 weeks if you have a place that gives you, some extra for tenure or whatever, right? And this is just an average, not everybody, but this is kind of the average situation. Well, here's the thing now. Well, now you're like, I want to do more for myself. I want to create for myself. Well, now you have to realize that your effort is going to have to be higher and your income is going to be lower. I'm not saying you've quit your job and now it's, your effort is going to be sky high now. Now you're learning a new skill set. You're learning to do things differently. You're learning to put more time into, the craft that you're creating. So the books, the podcasts, the people you associate with, things like that, all that ties into you mastering this new thing that you're doing, this new way of life, this new income stream that you're building for yourself that you've never built before. Most things, when you go to school, you didn't create the school, so you just walked into it and went there. The job that you have, you didn't create the job, you just walked in and they start paying you for doing work there. Now you're creating for yourself, and so you can't think that you're going to have the same mindset working and going to school than that you do building for yourself. It's foolishness if you think it's going to be the same, right? So naturally, you have to realize that there's going to be more effort in the beginning and the income is low. But here's the thing: if you do it properly, your income steadily increases as your effort decreases, and that's how you start to build wealth. That's when you start to see lifestyle happen. With Norm and I, with the things that we've established for ourselves, we don't work as hard on like learning and implementing certain things. Or some things are just streamlined and way more easy for us now. And before it was really a lot more difficult. And we create a lot more income for ourselves now than we did before. And so less effort, more income, and that's kind of how it's supposed to be when you're an entrepreneur, when you're doing for yourself. Intellectual property is the same way. You may take years to write a book, but once you've written it, it's written, and the income that comes from that book is cash flow at that point. It's something that you did for a short period of time, and it pays you for a lifetime. So what most people are now transitioning is working 40, 50, 60 hours a week for 50 weeks a year, for 50 years of their life, and then changing that mindset to now, putting time in, a lot of effort into something, and then all of a sudden, over time, in a shorter period of time, over time, you're making more. It's a passive income stream. You have intellectual property that you're being paid for, and there's multiple different things that you're doing at this point. But it only happens when you change your mindset. It only happens when you make that click, you make that switch, and realize that income is not linear when you create it for yourself. Income is not linear when you create for yourself. So just want to give this mindset to you guys, a big mental shift. Of course, I'm a big advocate of mentorship, having people who have been there, done that for you. It helps you become emotionally stable. It helps you accomplish what you're looking to accomplish. And it helps you actually think bigger. Mentorship for me, it helped me not to just see money. It helped me to see vision. It helped me to see purpose. It helped me to see, I can do way more than what I just thought I was trying to do initially. I was trying to just create for myself. When I quit my job 5 years ago at Sprint and started multiple companies, I just wanted money. I didn't care about the companies I was creating. I just wanted the result from it. But having mentors in your life, people that are actually successful, people that are actually wealthy, and they want to give you perspective, you have a relationship with them, it takes you to the next level. You understand things at a deeper level. You have access to better things and getting things accomplished at a faster rate because of the relationships you have. So I'm a big advocate of mentorship. Obviously, it emotionally stabilizes you. It gives you perspective whenever you need it. Because obviously, if you never built for yourself, how do you know when you're doing it right or doing it wrong? Most people would quit, on themselves if they didn't have somebody on the other side helping them. And that's why I'm a big advocate of mentorship. But wanted to give you guys this video, want to give you guys some mindset. Your mindset has to change if you're gonna create for yourself. You're not gonna be an employee and be a successful entrepreneur. You're not gonna have an employee mindset and be a successful entrepreneur doing for yourself. And you have to get around people who have done what you're trying to do and really, really lean into that relationship, and it'll help you get it done. So hope this makes sense, and you guys have a good rest of your night. Peace.